It's a Saturday night at Holiday Twin Rinks in Cheektowaga, New York, and the Buffalo Stars are again in action. Fans arriving at Holiday Twin Rinks find their seat, watch the players warm up, and then face off for another evening of exciting junior hockey action. While fans may arrive shortly before the scheduled opening face-off, a dedicated team of staff and volunteers work behind the scenes hours before the puck is dropped. Here we get to know some of the Buffalo Stars team behind the scenes. The Stars organization has two teams competing in two separate leagues, the Empire Junior Hockey League and the Continental Hockey Association. For Stars president and general manager Pete Prederotti, it means long hours in the Stars office every day of the week during hockey season. He's also the first to arrive early in the morning when the Stars have a home game.
The behind-the-scenes team.
Exactly.
No doubt. One of the best, I think, actually I'd like to say the best in hockey. You're starting with our Director of Game Day Operations, Ed Gajewski, going right down to just the kid who picks up the pucks after the warm-up. We have a home game staff of approximately 20 people, and they're all pretty much volunteers. We feed them here a little bit during the games, and maybe we'll throw a few bucks of gas money here or there. But basically, they're volunteers, and they're great people, and they take their job seriously.
Yes, I've been with the Stars for 8 years. I've been with Pete for actually 10 years, as long as I've known him. Him and I became friends prior to the Stars. My son played on the first CHA team back. It would have been 2002. He quit playing junior hockey 3 years ago. And so I just keep going, do it all for the kids, and hopefully they move along.
Other staff members arrive a few hours before game time. Executive producer Amanda Brennan is among the early birds. During the game, she'll sit in the Stars' office, but beforehand, she's running several tasks to help get ready for the big game. Over the course of a day, tell me what it is you're doing once the game's in progress.
I arrange interviews for before the game, in between periods, and then I put the game in live. Which
is courtesy of Point Streak, and that which pretty much allows the Buffalo Stars, and they do something that a lot of other teams don't do. They actually do it live as the game is in progress.
Yes, we do.
So. Tell me about a typical start to your workday here. What time? How many hours before a game do you usually check in?
Usually about 2 hours before game time.
Gets pretty.
The score sheet ready and just catch up with the rest of the broadcast team.
Gets pretty busy along the way too, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now you're taking this down to Fredonia, right?
Yes.
So getting a lot of practice here and getting a lot of practice doing this, and the training in Fredonia certainly is helpful.
Yes, it is definitely.
What's the most rewarding part of the job here?
Just the experience of getting to do what I'm actually going to school for.
And tell us, I mean, you've been involved with the program here for quite a few years now. When did you first get involved?
When I was about 10, I started scorekeeping for the tournaments. And then slowly I started working the table for the tournaments where players signed in and coaches went. And then eventually I started working for the Stars, scorekeeping and doing all the different.
Are there any memories that you would rank among your top memories here?
I think everything's been pretty fun.
Hours before game time, the front table is set up in the lobby where staff and players' parents supervise. Upstairs, more Star staffers are on duty in the hospitality room, where teams are fed after the games, and occasionally manning fundraising tables, such as the one hosted during the team's Christmas party. Besides the players themselves, the most visible members of the Stars staff are the coaches. Jerry Shorthouse and John Bruno, who coach the Empire League and CHA teams respectively, begin their preparations for a home game about a week in advance.
Well, basically what we try and do is we play a very similar schedule like the colleges do. So they're playing the same team twice in a week, and we predominantly do the same thing with the exception of our showcases. So we know going into a Monday that Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, we're going to face the same team back to back. So we know who we're playing. We have a week to kind of prepare. We may do some things with special teams. We may run some different breakouts and try to take advantage of what we've seen in these clubs, either weaknesses that they have or strengths that they have against our weaknesses and what we need to do to plug some holes.
Typical week, I know who we're playing. If it's a game week or, we've had a few weeks off where if it's a 2-week set of practice, we'll do something different than we will on a 1-week practice. This week, for example, knowing Mass, I'll study their stats, go and check online. I look and see if they've lost players from the week before, if they're bringing in new guys. In their case, I knew they were bringing in 2-3 new players. They lost some injuries, those types of things. So we kind of plan for that, plan their style, look for who's to watch out for.
It's pretty long hours for you guys, isn't it?
It can be. It can be. But we're not, it's not like we're new at it, so it comes easier with time.
Not only for you, but your families they've got to be quite accustomed to it too, knowing that this is how a coach is.
Yes, it's not the first time I've coached juniors, nor will it be the last. Or the travel. I'm used to taking 8 to 10 travel weekends a year, so this is actually shorter than last year, so this is okay.
It's a staff that we pick on each other, we have fun at each other's expense, but at the same time, that's got to be a testament to kind of the family atmosphere here.
Well, yeah, it's one big crazy messed up family, and we enjoy each other. If not, we let each other know, that's for sure.
The players arrive a couple of hours before game time, and after stretching and warming up, they're oftentimes preparing their equipment for the game ahead. After a pregame warm-up, the coaches get one last opportunity to fire up the troops before it's game on.
I'll follow you.
Listen up.
Their big guys are going to not get dirty. You won't go into the corners. They'll be high.
They don't
as soon as you stop watching them, pucks on their stick, they're scoring.
Don't watch the hands.
All right.
The Buffalo Stars organization takes pride in itself for its high-tech game presentations, both in the rink and on the internet, headquartered in a new press box unveiled just before the start of the 2010-2011 season. All home games are broadcast live on fasthockey.com. From the balcony outside the press box overlooking the home bench, the Stars webcast crew is at work following the action on camera while calling the play-by-play and color commentary.
You stand next to camera Ken at the camera and offer your perspective, and you do so as a Buffalo Alliance player, so you really do have that insider's perspective.
Right, I know how most players feel at like certain points in the game when you're down by a couple or you're up by a couple, and I think I just provide a good insight of how a player feels during the game.
It's got to be enjoyable watching a game and being able to put in your 2 cents. It's a lot of every fan loves to have their analysis, but here you get to do it on camera.
Right, I mean it's one of my dreams to somehow get into hockey broadcasting, and I'm sort of starting out in like the minors. So yeah, I love doing it, and it's very fun.
And you're still in school, so you've got an edge on a lot of other would-be broadcasters. You got some practical experience here.
Yeah, working with all this technology and stuff, and Pete's doing a great job at providing all this latest up-to-date technology, and he's doing a really good job at letting us get to the top of what we could be accomplishing.
While the webcast crew is busy outside the press box, inside the enclosed facility is Brian, who directs the music and public address system.
For a guy your age, I mean, you're trusted with some pretty serious equipment here and some pretty responsible duties here for a game day presentation.
I'm 16. The new technology is sick. I love it. It's so much easier than having to scroll through the laptop and find everything. Now I just use the laptop to get some stats for interviews. And
you raise a good point, because you were here last year when this was an open press box. And actually for the past couple of years it was an open press box, and it was very, very crude setup. You had a microphone, you had a laptop, but I mean, this is much more precise equipment.
Oh, a lot more precise. Last year the whole balcony was open. You had people standing everywhere. You couldn't get the ice. Now it's so much easier.
And just from your point of view, you get to watch the game and also make some PA announcements, pick the music. Tell me about the little hot button right there.
This hot button, it overrides everything. If we're playing a song in between periods and there's a penalty, we click number 14 per se. If we get a penalty, it's innocent man. So they just override everything. It's so much easier with the goal horn. We hit number 1 if there's a goal. We don't have to scroll through to find the goal horn for a delay. Now we just hit that and it's all done.
It's really cute. And this is a system that is used by other by colleges and even some minor pro teams, correct?
Oh yeah, the Buffalo Sabres actually do something just like that.
As we introduce your starters for the Buffalo Stars. Starting in goal, number 31, Alex Willis.
That guy, that's yours truly. When I'm not narrating and producing Buffalo Stars news and notes video segments, I'm providing public address announcements, including starting lineups, promotional reads, and occasional live interviews with fans in the stands. Down below, team trainers John Huey and Greg Fleury are on standby. Both are professional emergency medical technicians, and one or both of these men are on duty at all Stars home games, prepared to deal with an injured hockey player.
You and Greg Fleury, you're the two guys that hopefully don't have to work all that much, because it means that nobody got hurt that night.
Yeah, a nice day for us is a day where we do absolutely nothing.
Well, it's a day that, what time do you usually come in prior to a Stars game? How often, how early do you start?
Usually about an hour, hour and a half beforehand. We help the boys stretch out, tape up some old injuries, get the pucks ready, water bottles ready, get everything set and prepared for warm-ups. Once warm-ups are over, we're dedicated to nothing more than injuries on the ice.
Holly Smith is staffed inside the scorer's booth. During the game, she's among the staff who operate the scoreboard and relay information from the referee upstairs to Amanda Brennan in the Stars office. After Holly forwards the information to Amanda via walkie-talkie, Amanda enters the information into Point Streak, a web-based service that offers live updates, including the score, while later automatically preparing an official score sheet. Meanwhile, back in the lobby, volunteers are at work hoping to raise more funds for the team, including 50-50 split ticket sales.
You're one of the parents that puts in a lot of time with the organization. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for several years. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
And you had a son pass through here, Mike, who's now one of the assistant coaches, so it kind of runs in the family.
Yes, it does.
What keeps you coming back?
The fun, the excitement, the people, the adventure, all of it.
And the opportunity to make some money for some people.
Most definitely.
What's it like being that hockey mom, watching him, especially when he was a goaltender? That had to be tough for a hockey mom.
Well, being a goaltender's mom is very nerve-wracking. He's the last line of defense, so I always took it very, very seriously when he was playing goals.
Oh yeah. Now he's an assistant coach, so how does the dynamic change, or are you still the hockey mom that worries for her son?
I'm still the hockey mom, still supporting him. Not as worried about it anymore, but I still support him, and I'm trying to come as many games as I possibly can.
You also support the program. You do. You're kind of a Jane of all trades here.
Yeah, I try to help out whenever possible. Pete's a good guy, so I try to help him out whenever I can.
What do you find yourself doing the most these days with the Stars?
Scorekeeping. I'm in the box a lot now doing the timekeeping now.
The Stars get some help from staff and family members from the junior program's youth affiliates, the Buffalo Alliance and Buffalo Hornets.
I imagine this is probably one of the many things that you do for the Alliance or their predecessors, the Hornets.
Yes, I do. I usually always do the Chinese auction, and then I do the showcase over there. I decorate the showcase, the trophy case. I clean it and decorate it.
How many years have you been doing this?
12 years now.
12 years?
Yep.
Got kids in the program now.
Only one.
Great. What keeps you guys coming back to this particular organization?
Family. It's one big happy family.
And you've been involved with Pete's organization for quite a while.
30 years.
30 years. So you've been there from the beginning, or close to the beginning.
Close to the beginning.
How did you first come aboard, and what keeps you coming back year after year?
Pete.
What is it about Pete that makes you come back?
His heart is where it's supposed to be.
He really does take care of his people, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
What would you say is of all the moments that he's taken care of his people, from your observation over the past 30 years, what are the most memorable?
My husband had a problem with the team, and he left not the organization, but he was walking away from girls hockey. And Pete came all the way to the rink he was in and walked off with Norm, just to prove that he stood beside Norm. That's a man for you. That's a man for you.
And you've been with this organization for nearly 2 decades now?
Almost 2 decades since my oldest started with the Learn to Skate program.
And what keeps you coming back?
The families, good people. I mean, we had an awesome party today without everybody participating. We couldn't have done it. The families donated the Chinese auction, the player gifts, and it's really all for the kids. That's what we do it.
You put in a lot of long hours. A lot of the volunteers do. And do you feel that the appreciation is returned?
I think for the most part part it is. I think the people that keep coming back, they know why we're here, and we're here for the kids and for them to have a good time.
As you've heard from staff and volunteers, it's the feeling of family that keeps them coming back. The loyalty created from that family atmosphere goes both ways. 2 former Stars players were invited to come back as assistant coaches.
It started about when I was 4, so I've been here for a while.
So you started with the Hornets and worked your way all the way up to the junior level.
Yep, I ended up finishing an M player and then took a year off and then came back to coach. So
what made you decide to come back and do the coaching?
Well, you know, I just like being around the game and knowing Pete for so long. I kind of had a nice idea of how he runs things and how things work around here. So it was real easy to just kind of jump in and share, you know, what I know with the kids. So.
Tell me about making the transition from goaltender to coach. What made you decide to get into coaching?
Different people actually offered it to me. I started back when Joe Rome was coaching. He asked if I want to come help out at a couple of the skates. I had a good time doing it and just kept going from there.
And now you're behind the bench for the CHA. Do you have hopes or visions of taking it higher, maybe getting a head coaching position within the program eventually?
Oh, definitely. I hope. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, I can get that job and take it as far as I can from there.
The game has ended, but the work has not. Now it's time to feed both teams in the hospitality room. The foods awaiting the players and coaches include pizza and wings ordered from a local pizzeria, and many times home-cooked foods provided by Stars or youth affiliates' families. It's only after this final effort is completed that the Stars staff can call it a night. After some post-game bonding and even a nightcap, it's home for the night. But when the Stars host on a Saturday, they're usually hosting on a Sunday morning as well. And for the Stars, that means the work begins all over again the following morning. The Stars put on an ambitious operation, one that cannot be possible without the dedication of the men and women who devote countless hours to Buffalo Stars hockey.